Hey guys, welcome back to the Gooner podcast right here for the post-match review. Nottingham Forest 1, Arsenal 0, and there you go guys. The season, it's pretty much done. Title race has, it's gone as well. Mathematically, we cannot catch up with City, which means that City has been crowned the champions of the Premier League 2022-2023 season. Congratulations to them again. They are such a strong team, and you know what? At this point, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually somehow complete the treble. Of course, they beat Real Madrid 4-0 at the Etihad on Wednesday. And again, that was a massive display by Real Madrid. And right now, of course, with the way how Arsenal kind of crumbling towards the end of the season, which also gave them the opportunity to win, the majority of their games. And of course, they did. That's what the champions would do. And of course, they took advantage of what Arsenal have been lacking for the past few games. And again, Arsenal fell short, and City was crowned as champion today, was announced as champions today. And in the FA Cup against United, I'm kind of favoring City to win that. And of course, a lot of people would prefer, City not winning the treble because, again, the 1999 treble is more special. I do believe that, to be honest. I think even though 1999 was the year I was born, but in terms of, the special, like how special the squad, how special the season was, certainly the 1999 season was more special back then compared to what City has been trying to achieve. But again, I'm not gonna stand in their way. I'm all in football, to be honest. And the way when I watch City, it's just the way how they play was just beautiful. It was too powerful, to be honest. And of course, with the current generation that we were watching, I think it's just, it just shows that, they are showing world dominance, and, congrats to them. Of course, they haven't won the treble yet, but they soon will be. But again, this is an Arsenal podcast. And before going to the main part of the podcast, I've been coming up with a few podcast idea for the next couple of weeks, maybe in 2-3 weeks as well. So of course, next game against Wolves, it will be the last game of the season. Again, I'm very looking forward to that. Of course, it's pretty much the celebration of a great season that we have. And after that, I want to do a season review and also players review. And after that, we will be doing a players, sell, keep, loan, that kind of a mini game, and also the type of player that I really do want to see in this summer window. Hopefully, we're gonna sign them. Of course, the way how Arsenal are trying to achieve right now. Certainly, we are going to do a massive business over the summer. Just can't wait, to be honest. Despite the way how that we kind of crumbling towards the end. And later on, I'll be doing a collab podcast with my friend, a special guest. Actually, he is a diehard Manchester United fan. I've known him for 5-6 years actually, and the way how we met was kind of very interesting and funny as well. And of course, I certainly do want to have a healthy, toxic-free conversation with him in regards to his team, and also, of course, a little bit of a chit-chat for both of our teams. And all right, so let's talk about the game in general. Nottingham Forest 1, Arsenal 0. I'm trying to keep it as positive as I can, but based on what I've watched today against Forest, certainly I can't really pick a lot of positive things to talk about. But off the pitch, there are certainly quite a bit of positivity around the transfer rumor, around contracts as well. But let's focus on the game today. So Arteta did something that is completely I don't know what to say I don't know how to say this, but the fact that not putting Kieran Tierney as your starting left back in today's game. At the same time, that's pretty much sums up, the season, the career for Kieran Tierney. I mean, the fact that we have only one left back left, a healthy one as well, a healthy left back for the remainder of the 2 games. And the fact that you're not putting him as your starting left back and you put a left-footed player, Kiwior, as your left back also shows the limitation of Kieran Tierney's game. And I found that stat somewhere on Twitter, and pretty much all over the internet, saying that Kieran Tierney, I think in the last game against Brighton, he has completed 4 passes, 9 touches in general. And again, we just kind of lack control on the left-hand side of the area, or for the most part, pretty much the whole game, we just don't have any control in the last game. Today, we certainly do have control in the game. We have the majority of the possession. But again, even though we have the majority of the possession, the gameplay that we had, the style of football that we played today was stale, dull, and boring at the same time. There's no spark. There's no sense of urgency. There is no good display overall in today's game. I found that very disappointing overall. Of course, without the likes of Zinchenko. Again, I have nothing against Zinchenko. Everybody knows that he is a defensive liability. But in terms of attacking play, in terms of controlling the game, he has been an expert. And of course, Zinchenko is one of the players that has transformed the way how Arsenal play throughout the whole season. And again, I feel like the right way to address the whole left back area for Arsenal, I just think that when you have to start games, you just have to start Zinchenko, right? I mean, if you are, if we are taking a lead, 1 goal, 2 goal lead with 20, 30, or even 40 minutes left to play, and you are, decided to kind of defend per se, you just put Kieran Tierney on. And I think that's what the best thing that Kieran Tierney can do for the squad is, he's a proper traditional left back. He will go up and down the pitch, defend it for you, attack it for you, doing overlap runs and everything, contributing on the flanks, crossing in the middle, and all that kind of good stuff that he does. But the fact that we have evolved so much this season, I remember last season where he was out for the season because of a knee injury during his international games, and he was truly missed back then. He has been sensational in the last season. He was deeply missed, and we were stuck with Nuno Tavares for the remainder of that season. And just 1 year later, KT was kind of a fringe player now. He is not, that type of player that Mikel Arteta has been thinking or has been trying to build up. And instead, we have been moving towards a inverted, wide backs. The way how we play, we are heavily invested in the way what a proper inverted left back or right back would play. And that's why he has been pretty much out of favor throughout the whole season. And with today's game, I can definitely see that, we are not going to see Kieran Tierney in the next season. And that's okay. I mean, in times that we all have to learn. We all have to learn how to move on from, your beloved players. Emile Smith-Rowe, the fact that he's not even playing today's game when we're chasing a goal also shows that he might be out. He won't be featuring any more games for Arsenal, which is kind of sad to be honest, because he was at one point the highest goal scorer for Arsenal before kind of suffering an injury here and there. And I think he scored like 10 to 11 goals last season before Saka overtaking him in the end. But the fact that I remember there are 3-4 games in a row where Emil Smith Rowe would come off the bench, score goals. That's what he was very good at, to be honest, just making a instant impact. But right now he didn't even have the opportunity to make an instant impact at all. And unfortunately, I heard quite a lot of podcasts. I mean, this upcoming transfer window will also shows the how Arsenal might have much more of a bargaining power compared to the last few seasons when we were stuck with the old woods like Özil, Socrates, Mustafi Kolasinac. And right now we have talented players that we can that we're selling potentially for a massive amount of profit as well. So the game itself, again, very just boring, to be honest. Just everything was just kind of sloppy and slow. Just not playing good football at all. Everyone didn't have a good game, to be honest. I can't look at the squad and pinpoint, who did better, who did worse. Apparently, it's a collective effort, and I just can't point anybody who has a much worse game than this player and that player, who has a better game than this player and that player. And Saka, again, I think he has a massive drop off, but at the same time, of course, I'm going to protect him. I'm going to defend him as well, because he is our star boy, and the way how he transformed himself as a player compared to last season to this season has been tremendous. At least 10 plus goals and assists this season. And I saw this quite a lot of tweets on Twitter saying that, his dipping form right after the international break was very significant, to the point where it negatively affecting Arsenal. And it does, to be honest. I felt like, today we didn't have Martinelli out for the season, unfortunately, with the horrendous tackle by Caicedo. And hopefully, Caicedo saw how, bad of an impact he had on Martinelli with that tackle. And hopefully he is going to join us over the summer. I mean, that's the only bit where we could, forgive Caicedo. But in all serious talk, not I don't think any part of the pitch worked at all. Martin Odegaard has a very quiet game. That's been pretty much boxed the way how I'm watching, at least for Nottingham Forest players kind of surrounding him, boxing him, restricting his freedom in the middle. That's why we can't really keep the ball forward. And at one point I felt very frustrated. I felt like all the plays that we're making were on the right-hand side, and we don't see any support, in the middle. That's a problem. Sometimes you have Partey, Odegaard, Ben White, Jorginho, Saka, and also Jesus. They were kind of clamming on the right-hand side together, and by the time when we try to switch this play, it just didn't work. It's just the transition was horrible. Just a lot of mistakes and stuff like that. We didn't really have any good chances. I don't recall any of them. Maybe Jesus with I think with the header at the back post from a corner. I think he hit the top of the post. And there's two very well taken corner from Saka to Trossard, but both of those attempts were bad, to be honest. Even for Trossard, I think today he has a very, very quiet game. And I think in a game like this, Nelson might be started. If he didn't start, I felt like Nelson would have probably make a much greater impact than what Trossard has done so far in this game. And another, of course, the whole starting lineup has been very, very adventurous. I like to see that, but it just didn't work out. The fact that you put Thomas Partey on the right, you putting Ben White in the middle with Gabriel, which is fine. That was the old partnership that we had been seeing last season. You have Kiwior on the left-hand side, but again, in that game, the difference between putting Kiwior and also Tierney there was very, very minimum. I don't see any difference between this game and also last game, and you're not quite utilizing the fact that Kiwior was very good on the ball. You're just not using that. I mean, not a lot of progressive passes I've seen from him, and made a lot of mistake on the left-hand side, and has been caught a few times on the counter on the left-hand side as well. There are a few times where Forest could have possibly, score a little bit more goals than just that one goal. But the one goal that we conceded was poor from Odegaard. It was an error led to a goal, and again, it was quite a fluke finish. Gabriel actually got the ball, and somehow the striker, I forgot his name, Awuwayi, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Probably not. I would just call him the Forest striker. Yeah, Gabriel got the ball, but it just kind of flicked on exactly the time when the Forest striker pulls the trigger over Ramsdale. That's how unlucky it was. 1-0, and I fear the worst. I mean, this game also gives a confirmation for Forest that they are staying up in this campaign. Good for them. I thought they might be getting relegated this season, but they have what it takes to stay up. Good for them. And right now, of course, all they need is a win to be safe from the relegation battle. Once they score that goal, fearing the worst, they play very deep. They make sure that we didn't get any space on their box, even go for a shot, and I felt like so repetitive throughout the whole game. We have the ball, we dribble to right outside the box, and we're just not taking any chances. The final third has been horrible, to be honest. I felt like we control the majority of the game. Keep passing around. When things didn't work out, go back again, doing the same thing until the final whistle was blown. It was just horrible. I turned off the TV before the whistle was blown, but that shows how horrible of a game that was. And there were two youngsters, I believe. One of them is Dewberry, Koshia Dewberry. That might be his name. I felt like in a game like this, when nothing seems to be going to our way, maybe you can put a youngster in there, hopefully, make an impact. Again, I mean, I think we still have 1 or 2 substitutions left. We didn't even quite use that. Smith Rowe didn't come on. I felt like another youngster could have also come on as well. But you know what? Arteta does Arteta stuff. Like you said, it's extremely sad. I mean, we've been working so hard throughout the whole season, and this is the way how we end it. I said this in the last podcast. It's fine to win this game, and City winning their game against Chelsea. At least we went down with the fight, a good fight as well by winning. But today seems to be the day where we just didn't show up at all, and trying to find the lights of it, the positivity out of it, and it's just really tough, to be honest. certainly we didn't do very great. I think we only got 9 points out of the last 24 games, and for the past 2 months that we've been playing, it's been it's been bad. We only won 2 games for the past 2 months, and that sums up the last part of the season. And I think I read the stats somewhere as well. I think every time after the March international break, we just couldn't perform. We just collapsed. We just didn't have the energy and stuff to make an impact. We just can't. And this is another example of that season where we just collapsed. We just can't perform after the March international break, and this is what it has led us. I still don't think we might have won the league, but at least we still wanna go down by winning a fight, by fighting, to be honest. But it's just this is a very young squad, and there's only one thing that we are trying to achieve. There's one thing in that squad. It's that we are going to get better. Saka is 21, 22, Odegaard 24, Martinelli 21, 22. Saliba 21 or 22 euro. They can only get better at this case. And you know what? It's fine. Despite the last 2 months, it's been disappointing, but in general, I think we had a very good season. Certainly one of the seasons where I would definitely, remember for the rest of my life. I don't remember a season before where we actually performed this well throughout the whole season, except the last part. But pretty much the whole season has been quite, special. Games like the game against Bournemouth, amazing. Chelsea, Newcastle United, Spurs, beating them twice this season, beating Liverpool at home for the first time in I don't know how many years. Manchester United beating them at home as well. Again, it's just very good memories in general. I certainly would give this season a 8 to 8.5 out of 10. I just think it's a very good season, a very poor letdown in the end, but in general, very good game. And moving on to the next part of the podcast. It's more of a, just kind of mention it a little bit, Granit Xhaka pretty much set to leave imminently, going back to Germany for buying Bayer Leverkusen. In terms of how I see about this, it's that I am not particularly against it. We certainly do need an upgrade for him. Technically, wonderful player. Leadership, it's there. But again, when you want to start him in the next couple of seasons as our starting number 8, it's just very impossible at this point. We just need to move on from him. By no means that he's not a good player, but I think he's a very good player. His redemption arc pretty much come to a completion, just a perfect arc right there. But when we link with players like Caicedo, Mason Mount, even Declan Rice, I think in that category we certainly do need an upgrade. But I certainly do going to miss him. And of course, Ramsdale signing his new contract, good for him. Again, everybody has their own doubt against Ramsdale. Like for me, I still think he might be a little bit overrated, but again, I still think he's a very good player for Arsenal this season. I think games like Liverpool, even away at Spurs, he made some fantastic saves. He was the one who kind of kept us in the game in the majority of the games. And Bukayo Saka, I believe his contract is pretty much done. It's just the matter of, announcing the new contract. And again, a little bit scared, after signing that new contract. That's why his form dipped. Same as Aubameyang, also Salah. Well, Bukayo Saka is young, so we can, wait and see what's going on with him in the future. But we'll see. Saliba, still no talks going on with this contract negotiation. Hopefully he is going to tie down for 4 or 5 years. And I think after what we have been experiencing with Saliba out for the rest of the season, I felt like he has to sign that contract for Arsenal, and Arsenal has no way to how would you say it? Arsenal just need to extend his contract. No doubt about that. I mean, it's already a lesson right now. No Saliba, no Party, no Saliba. We've been dropping a lot of points, and Saliba is pretty much the key of pretty much the whole campaign. We didn't quite see it. We kind of got overshadowed by Zinchenko and also Jesus. We survived without both of them early in the season, but when we hit Saliba, that's where the ship went down in a very ugly fashion. Yeah, but that's about it, guys. Thank you guys for listening, and of course, the last post-match review for 2022-2023 season will be on a Sunday. 28th? Yeah, 28th of May. And after that, post-match review will be taking a rest. We'll be taking an off season for Arsenal, and of course, the post-match review will be back for 2023-2024 season. But meanwhile, of course, I'll be doing hopefully twice an upload. Twice a week upload. Again, following the news of Arsenal, the way how I see it and stuff like that. My opinions on that. Signings that we might make, or departures that we might see. Kind of giving a overall opinions about that. Hopefully you guys will still listen to this podcast or this segment of a video after calling an end for the 2022-2023 season post-match review. So thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I think this will be uploaded very soon on a Saturday night. It's 11:30 right here. So hopefully I'll be putting this video out very soon. So thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you guys in a bit.